And there, I think, lies the real issue with our industry is there's just not enough training.
Today's guest is Joe Killinger, a powerhouse in commercial real estate who has successfully scaled 3 separate companies to over $5 million each, all using different growth strategies, from cold calling to referrals and SEO marketing. Joe is not just a top producer. He's now on a mission to revolutionize how the industry trains and empowers the next generation of agents. In this episode, Joe dives into why commercial real estate brokerage is broken for new agents, with insights on a staggering churn rate. Up to 92% of newcomers leave in the first few years. He uncovers the must-have entrepreneurial mindset, the importance of authentic relationship building, and the value of meaningful training. You'll also hear how Joe is leveraging innovative content marketing and an affiliate network to compete with the industry giants, and why commercial real estate might be the perfect path for young adults deciding between college and launching a career. If you're interested in the future of real estate, actionable strategies, and a fresh perspective from someone who's been at the top and is now giving back, you won't want to miss this episode. As always, if you found value from this content, please like and subscribe. All right, Joe Killinger, welcome to Beyond Fulfillment.
Thank you for having me on, Dave. I look forward to it.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. So, Joe, you've been in commercial real estate for quite some time now and have been very successful. In fact, you've scaled 3 separate companies to over $5 million each. And now you're focusing a lot of your efforts on training the next generation of commercial real estate agents because according to you, that the industry is broken. Can you just talk about like that training disconnect and what you're doing with your companies?
Absolutely, Dave. Yeah, I did 5 million in the first 18 months, and it was for these companies is what I wanted to clarify, because the first one was without any internet, which was absolutely, it's what we had to do when we started, was just cold calling and door knocking and networking too. But the second one was strictly off of referrals from residential agents. And then the last one was a combination of SEO marketing, the residential agents that we knew, and cold calling. So it was a combination. It just kind of stair-stepped up, and that's how we grew those. And so I have a lot of experience in showing people how to grow their business. And yes, I do think the commercial real estate brokerage industry, as far as getting new people into the industry, is really broken. But I do think there's a huge opportunity for any new people that want to get into commercial real estate brokerage to really jump in and make a ton of money. Because the way it has been over the last several years is you bring somebody in, you interview them a couple times, you're like, okay, this person has their license, let's get them onto our company. You get them started, you essentially put a phone book in front of them and say, hey, here's your leads, go do it. And there, I think, lies the real issue with our industry is there's just not enough training.
If your business is an e-commerce brand, this message is for you. Logistics can make or break you. If you're tired of being just a number to those big box 3PLs, you need to check out our team at Easy DC 3PL. We're a different kind of partner, built specifically for growing brands that ship between 1,000 and 10,000 orders per month. We offer warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation with a focus on personalized service and flexibility. Our Central Kentucky location gives you nationwide reach, turning logistics into a competitive advantage. So if you're ready to partner with a 3PL that actually gets your brand, visit easydc3pl.com.
I think, as a commercial real estate brokerage firm, which I own, Commercial Brokers International here in Los Angeles, or I'm a partner in it, we really focus on training. So every morning we're going to do training from 8:30 to 9:30, and the CEO of the company actually does the training. Then on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, before we go home, we sit down with a new agent and say, okay, what's working for you? What's not working for you, and how can we make you better at it? And I've seen agents over the years that have we still lose agents, don't get me wrong, because some agents, I think they watch those shows like $1 Million Listing and all that. They're walking around on their cell phone doing deals. That's not commercial real estate. This is a real business that it takes a lot, it takes time to get going, but you need to get the proper training, and it's going to allow a younger generation to really thrive within our industry.
Okay. And so a couple of things. What's the churn rate of new agents like in industry wide?
Do you have a seatbelt on? It's within the first few years, Dave, it's between 87 and 92%. And I can tell you why. It's obviously it's a lack of training. It's, a lot of these major companies, they bring these young people in and they say, okay, here's your senior. The senior's going to train you, and they're going to take a percentage of every lead that you bring in. Plus the company's going to get a percentage of the lead that you bring in. So, you're going to have to do a lot of deals to make sure you put enough food on the table to pay your rent and eat. Or you get a small firm, an independent brokerage that doesn't really do any training and just kind of cuts you loose. And that's why we have such when I say cut you loose, they just put you on the phones and don't really give you any training. So it's essential that you, as an agent that's getting into the market, go out and interview these brokerage companies just as much as they're interviewing you, because you want to make sure that if you have $10,000 to live off of the next year, or whatever the number is, that you're not going to burn through that and not have brought any revenue in. You want to make sure you're going to a firm that is going to give you the training, going to give you the knowledge base and the tools to really go out and thrive. So really focus on interviewing those brokerage firms before you accept.
Okay. And so yeah, like you said, the churn rate is
That's insane, isn't it?
that's insane. Yeah, that's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it. So
Yeah.
for the ones that stick, that small percentage of agents that stick and make this a long-term career, what do you see as different about them versus all the ones that leave the industry?
A lot of it is mindset. They've come in knowing that I'm going to be in that office at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm not going to leave until I have an appointment. They just are real estate entrepreneurs that want to succeed. It is a kill what you eat industry, or eat what you kill industry. And so you've got to have the mindset. You got to be a real entrepreneur. And, but there's a lot of those out there. And so I think mindset is a lot of it. Ability to listen and learn also. I've talked to so many young people that when I'm interviewing, they're telling me how they're going to market themselves and how they're going to grow their business. And I'm like, well, none of that's going to work. Nobody is going to give you business right off the bat because you have no experience. You have to really prove yourself first. You've got to build trust. You got to be authentic in what you're putting out. And if you're brand new, it's going to be hard to do unless you come from a family that has a ton of business or a ton of real estate already, right? But it's just really hard to do. So mindset and then the ability to listen and learn.
Okay. All right. And then as far as like the training, like what like you said, it sounds insane as well that even in this day and age, giving what the market's like and how competitive it is out there,
Mhm.
where companies are just basically giving young kids a phone book and saying, "Here, go sell something." I
Yeah.
mean, as far as the training, like how quick can that make a difference in terms of when you're seeing agents basically close deals and basically bring in some revenue when they get started with like a company like yours that has real training?
Yeah, it depends on the person. So I don't want to dodge the answer, but it just really depends on the individual and how well versed they are in real estate. So when you go into some of these firms, they're going to put you on the phones, day two, and they're just going to say, okay, start generating leads for your senior. Get out there and do it. Ask your senior any questions you have. What we do in our company, and it's not like we still have turnover. I don't want it to sound like we're the best at it. We're still learning as we go. But, what we'll do is take an agent and their first week, they're going to do nothing but sit on the systems and learn the asset class in the market they want to be in. And we tell them before you pick a market and pick an asset class, I want you to understand what is making money in what area. So take a few days, look at, so if it's multifamily in Santa Monica, that sounds great, right? But what if there's only 20 buildings a year selling? There's not enough churn there. You're not going to make enough money. And so you want to pick an asset class in a market that's actually working. Or let's say it's you're in a market that you want to do industrial, but it's selling at $1 a foot, and the average size is 5,000 square feet. Well, how many of those deals do you have to do in a year? It's a lot. So really do an analysis of the market and the asset class and really focus on an area that you want to be in. And I always suggest have it close to your home, but you really want to make sure that you do this study before you get on the phones. But then once you decide the asset class in the market, I want you to study the market and know it better than anybody else. Because like it or not, I can pick up the phone and call some of the companies that are our competition, and I can talk to their newer agents that have been in the business for a year or two. I can ask them about what's going on in their marketplace, and they really won't know. So they've got their script, and that's what they know, right? And they're probably really good at it, and they don't mind that constant rejection. But what we do is your first week is asset class, market, learn that market. Then I sit down with you and I'm going to ask you questions. Okay, you want to do multifamily in Beverly Hills? How many properties are on the market right now? What's the average days on market? What's the average list price? And what's the sales price compared to the list price? What's the average size of the building? I want to know all that before you get on the phones. Because now when you get on the phones, you can actually have a conversation with somebody that owns multifamily in Beverly Hills, because you've got all this data in your head that you know that you can bring value to that person on the other end of the phone, instead of calling them and say, hey, this is Joe Schmo from abccommercial.com. I want to, are you thinking about buying, selling, or leasing any real estate? No, you're not. Okay, goodbye. On to the next call. You've got to be smart about this. And really, I mean, when I got started in residential in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they literally gave me a phone book to start calling out of. So I learned that wasn't the way to do it. It's the hardest way to build business. And so, yeah, that's what we do, is we really want our agents to know their market before they even touch the phone.
Okay. All right. And so you're in Los Angeles, so you're focusing on that surrounding area with your commercial, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're full service brokerage in Los Angeles. And we have our
Okay.
affiliate network that's all around the country.
Okay. And let's actually talk about that for a minute, because I know you told me a little bit about that off camera, but talk about what that does and how that's helped your business grow.
Yeah. So it came out of frustration. So this is one of the companies that I haven't raised a lot of revenue with, because we're doing it for free. And I think we'll monetize it at some point. But so we brought in a client, and they came from New Zealand, and they want to do business here in Los Angeles. And they called us because we do a lot of marketing, content creation, marketing, and with our brokerage. And they called us and said, hey, we want to come to the United States. We helped them move not just their corporate offices, but a lot of their employees over, got them housing. They came in here. I think we opened 9 stores for them. And then they said, okay, we want to go to Texas, Florida, New York. And we're like, oh man, we can't help you. So we ended up giving up that client. And this has been years ago. And that burned in me. And which in the end, they grew too fast and ended up not going very far anyway. So I didn't lose out on that much, but still in my mind, I'm like, okay, we got to do something different, because we really missed this opportunity. So we need to be part of an affiliate network. And so I decided, all right, let's call on these affiliate networks. And Dave, when I found out what affiliate networks charge, I was like, there's no way any independent commercial real estate firm can afford to do this. That's our size. We're 20 agents. But we can't afford to do something. The numbers were astronomical. There was an annual fee. There was a fee every time you do a deal. So during COVID, we were all sitting around watching our hair grow, right? And I thought, let's do something about this affiliate network. So I did some studying, and I just started calling brokers from around the country, those that were actually in the office. They answered the phone. I start talking to them and say, is this something that you would be interested in? And then I'd have to vet them out through other means. Fortunately, we just started with areas and brokerages and cities that we knew that we could get references. And we created the Commercial Real Estate Affiliate Network. We're at 27 members right now. Our fee structure is if I let's say you're part of the affiliate network, Dave, if I send you a deal, I get a referral fee back. That's the only expense. Now, where I am probably, and I need to figure out, is how can I monetize this company? And I'll do that at some point as we grow. But right now, it's allowed Commercial Brokers International to do deals around the country. So we've got deals going in Texas, Florida, Chicago, and I think one in Nebraska too. So, so we've got deals going around, and these guys are all working together. And, it's pretty amazing to see them being able to compete against the big CBREs, the JLLs of the world because of this network.
Okay. All right, and you bring up again the big companies, right, that
Mhm.
dominate the industry, and so your firm relatively small at 20 agents, but like you mentioned, you do a lot of content marketing, right, where
Mhm.
you've got this YouTube channel that's thriving, you do a lot of SEO. How important today would you say is content marketing for an entrepreneur?
Oh, it's the way to go. I'm getting ready to shoot a video on, I'm going to do it later today on, instead of chasing leads, get clients to contact you. And content creation is going to allow that. There's so many things that you can be doing as a firm or as a brokerage to really grow your business. And our Commercial Brokers International, we probably get 2 to 3 leads a week. Probably one a week is decent. The rest are just they're figuring it out as they go. But I've got one client, one agent that has two national clients, one international client, all from our SEO content, and she's putting them in retail all around the country. So it's very important. So if you really want to get going, obviously, cold calling is going to be part of sales in commercial real estate. That's never going to go away. Cold calling is going to be part of it. But I also want to see agents creating content that is value driven and you're being authentic and putting it out on a regular basis. And you want to get people to call you. And you do that by putting content out that's and there's just to start, you should just use 3 pillars, right? There should be your asset class that you're working in, the market you're working in, and then a little bit about you. You don't want to be talking about, show yourself out drinking every day and all that, but you want to show yourself out doing things socially, just so it kind of lowers the barrier. And I can give you an example. There's a guy that I know, Kyle and Sarah, that he has a French bulldog, and he was shooting a TikTok video of all things, and the French bulldog walked into the shot, and he just left him there. Lo and behold, in a couple of days, another guy saw that. It was a restaurant entrepreneur, saw the video and called him up and goes, "Hey, I have a French bulldog too. And I'm in your area. Let's connect. I want to talk to you. Let's get our dogs together and let's talk." So that lowers that barrier, makes it easier for people to call you, and it brings clients to you. And those clients that are coming to you, the close rate is so much higher than cold calling. So yes, content creation, getting a Google business page, you want to make sure you do that. I was speaking at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and I asked the audience, I think there was 140 people there, asked them how many people have a Google business page. Less than 10 raise their hands. So just that, and using it consistently. If you're posting on all your social media, also post on your Google business page. It's going to help a lot. And last but not least, proof stacking. If you really want to really build your business, you need to be doing proof stacking. And Edward Winslow wrote an incredible book about it. He's actually the one that created it. And proof stacking is simply how did I meet you write it, either write a blog or a white paper about how you met this client, a little bit about the client, what were the pain points of the client, how you look for properties for this client, how you resolved all the pain points, and then the end result. And then you post that on your website or on medium.com or on LinkedIn. And then that's going to live on the internet. And people are going to Google your name, Google a commercial broker in Timbuktu, and there you are, the broker of Timbuktu, and you show that you've done business in that marketplace and in a certain asset class. And if it's in the asset class that they are looking at, you're probably going to get a phone call.
Okay. All right. And another thing, Joe, I wanted to get your take on because a big conversation these days, particularly with young adults or kids, is the college conversation. Like, is
Mhm.
college worth it today? When you look at the cost, when you look at the issues people are having getting jobs within their degree, or even jobs that at a livable wage per se after they've paid for a college education, right? And you're dealing with a similar age group, right, with all these new agents coming in. So
Yep.
from your perspective, being in this industry and having built these companies, and now you're at the point where you're really trying to give back and create change with better training to create more opportunity. Why is commercial real estate a good option for a young adult when they're weighing a career today?
The opportunities are endless. And I mean, as far as a career, I think we've got agents that started just a year ago and they've done a good number of deals. And, they're in their mid 20s and late 20s. And, by the time they're 30, they're going to be making several $100,000 a year. And they can build a lifestyle. I mean, think about if you're 24 now, by the time you're 30, think of the client base you've built up over those years. And if you stay in touch, it's going to be a lot of repeat business coming in, and it just is going to fold in on itself. It's just going to keep going and growing and growing. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, but I was thinking when you were asking the question about college, and I'm sitting here, David, I think I might be the only one in our office that doesn't have a college education. I was sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, God dang, I might be the only one, but I'm not sure that that's true. But there's almost everybody that I know is in the office right now did go to college, and they
Okay.
all have a degree. But it does, if you do go to college, it depends on the person. It didn't work. I ran out of money because our family, I grew up on a farm in central Nebraska. We ended up losing the farm. My right was I was going to college. So we just ran out of money and I couldn't afford it. So I had to get in my car and I drove to California, and that's where I ended up. And I ran out of money here. It was a beautiful few years, but it really depends on the person. But if you do make it through, you do get your degree, it shows you have the stick-to-itiveness to really get something. And I don't think you need to have it for a lot of careers, but I don't think it hurts, but it's a personal preference, I think.
Okay. All right. And so, Joe, if people are seeing this, they are either in real estate or they're considering real estate, they want to learn more about your firm, your training, your programs, what you do. What's the best way that people can reach out to you?
They can go to the website, joekillinger.co. Matter of fact, if you're thinking about commercial real estate, I wrote a booklet, and this is all free. Everything on my website is free. It's all geared toward helping people get into commercial, or it doesn't need to be just commercial, residential too. You want to become a real estate agent. There's a booklet on there under learning. It's your first 90 days in commercial real estate. Again, it's free. Download it, take it, learn it. So joekillinger.co. Also, my YouTube channel is just under my name. All my social media is under Joe Killinger. I'm easy to get hold of, and I like it that way so people can reach out. I spend probably a good 2 to 3 hours a week mentoring people around the country, actually around the globe. I was on the phone with a guy from Vietnam this morning, of all places. So, it's reach out, don't hesitate. Happy to help you get into the real estate industry.
Okay. All right. We'll link all that in the show notes for everyone as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and sharing all this valuable wisdom from your journey with our audience. We greatly appreciate it.
Dave, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.